Welcome to the 7 Cents Podcast, where we go beyond dollars and cents to unlock the mindset beyond the money.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mike Macklin, aka Money Mike, the financial Thanos, because I'm snapping my fingers and I'm turning your financial problems to dust.
And I'm Coach RL, your money mindset coach. Mind right, money right, legacy locked in.
Guys, this is not your average financial podcast. We're breaking down money myths, mindset traps, and economic game plans.
We keep it real, raw, and relevant, from micro money moves to macro financial shifts.
This is a 7 Cents podcast where your mind meets your money.
Hey, so we've been here many times. Let's have this conversation. Are we going broke trying to look rich? So how is the flex culture, especially the money stacks on Instagram and the cars in a house and you can be like this in 30 days? How is this affecting our financial situation? Are we going broke trying to look rich?
Absolutely. We are. Man, I really feel like today's conversation is going to make a lot of people mad. And I'm going to tell you why first. A lot of people are going to get upset with this is because they're going to have to come face to face with who they really are. And I think for a lot of people, that is a very sensitive area. That's something that a lot of us don't want to do. Psychologically speaking, when we go out to the world, we don't really show the world our true self. We show the world the version of us that we want them to see. And I think this flex culture is a huge representation of what we are at our core. And that is, we are trying to present ourselves in a way that is accepting to the world. Now, how that affects our finances is essentially we are making very childish decisions with our finances because of that. Think about the conversations that you have with your children when they go out into the world. A lot of things you say to them. One of my favorites that I is when you talk to your kids is you're going to school to learn, not for a fashion show or not for whatever. But as adults, do we really do anything much different? And I feel like the answer to that question is no. We don't do much different. When we go out into the world, we go out and we purchase vehicles that we know in our heart of hearts that we can't afford. We wear clothing in our heart of hearts that we know. And you know what? Hold on. Before I go any further, let me go back and clean that up, because I don't like using the word can't afford. But we go out and buy things that are not reasonably within our budget. That's a better word that I would say, because there's no such thing as I can't afford. We're not allocating our funds the best that we could, because we're trying to present an image to the world that doesn't really reflect reality. And a bad thing about that is the truth eventually comes out. Because I'm gonna use an example. Say you drive to work in a CLS 500 Benz, but then let's say something happens to the car. You catch a flat tire or the transmission goes bad or something, and now you got to pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to replace that transmission, but you don't have the money to do that. All so right. Now you calling out of work, or you can't show up. And so the truth comes out is, okay, you can't come because your car done went down, that car that you are over allocating your money to have. So now the truth comes out. It's like, okay, why do you have that car that you can't afford? Because now you can't even get to work because you can't afford to fix that car. And so you put yourself in a situation that it really hurts you. And not only from a financial standpoint, because, the finances start to bleed over into other parts of your life. Now you're stressing out. Now you can't perform at work like you're supposed to. Now you can't show up for your family like you're supposed to. So this flex culture is really destroying families, communities, a lot of things. And so I'm glad we're talking about this today, because guys and ladies, we really have to come face to face with the reality of what we're doing and how it's truly affecting us. So I think today is going to be an absolutely fantastic show. And please, if there's ever a show that y'all gonna listen to this one, because this is gonna open some eyes today.
So let me cook, man. Let me cook.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. You got the skillet, man. Let's go.
Because you said exactly my thoughts, and I want to break it down. So 2 parts to this, right? So 2 parts to this. The first part is programming. And the reason you said it's childish, and I'm going to give you why it looks and sound childish, because it is, right? So the programming is how marketers and bigger organizations want you as a consumer in popular culture to think. So as a child, you sit down and you watch Batman, and you watch Spider-Man, and you watch Superman, or you watch Cinderella. And so what do you do for Halloween? And like my kids, through that programming, they want to dress like Cinderella and do backflips like Batman and, and dress like Spider-Man for Halloween and every other day, right? Through the same programming on Instagram and in rap videos and social media and popular culture, you now have a new favorite character as an adult. And you see that character and you try to emulate that character by not only on Halloween, but every other day, wearing a big chain, got the car, got the expensive bag with no money in it. It's funny because it's like after the age of 5, you are either going to mentally mature or you're not. And if you are stuck in that phase of doing the same thing when you were 3, meaning dressing like your superhero, then you're going to have a problem, because at some point you should want to become your own superhero. Right? You should be the main character in your life and not emulate the things and that is honestly mental peace. And some people
Let's
haven't
go.
reached that part yet. And a part of that mental peace is financial peace as well. So not only have you not found out who you were, you're now putting another stressful burden on yourself trying to become something else. And now you're dealing with 2 different stresses. I think it's important to really hone in on this. What does this look like? So I watch videos and I be scrolling all the time, but one of the things that I seen is, this is probably the thing that itches my scratch the most, is I see rappers and then even dope boys and regular people just throw stacks of money. I hear them brag about spending $10,000, $25,000. Not to say this is everybody within that particular culture, but what they don't understand is they've been put in that position to be the character. They're part of the program. They don't know it. And the other thing is an initial thought of what that money could have been. Now I'm glad it went to a young lady who's paying her way through school. However, you could actually get with your buddy and convert that into an endowment or a scholarship for that school. And young lady ain't even got to work for it. She just got to write a paper. The other piece to this, and I try not to be super long-winded because this just got my mind running, is I've seen so many organizations and nonprofit organizations within these same communities only need 10,000, only need 25,000 to get back on their feet or to provide meals for kids. Or I just went to a transition shelter for veterans not too long ago, and they said, hey, if we can just get $30,000. And I was like, that's a lot of money. But I also was scrolling and I seen 2 people throw that at a club that now I can't even justify why that money couldn't went into that organization to grow it. But we have to be real about where we are with ourselves. I think that is the overall concern that I have with the flex culture. What are some of the craziest things that you've seen as a financial professional within that flex culture?
Okay. It's funny because I talked about this in another episode that we did, but my family was in town this weekend and my nephew was one of the individuals here. And my nephew, I adopted him as my son because I don't have a son. I have a daughter, but my nephew, he has 2 sisters and a mom. So he's constantly around women, like all the time. And so anytime he comes to see me, I'm like, okay, it's time to pump a little testosterone into him, get some man into him. You know what I'm saying? And so I was talking to him about, just life in general and what to do. And one of the things that I was talking to him about is that you have to live a life that matches your funding. You can't spend $15 if you only have 14. You just can't do that. Like, it's a recipe for a disaster to begin with. Getting into the actual question you asked me about what have I seen or discussed or come across during my time as a financial coach, a lot of what I've seen, and I hate to use a general for such a specific question, but a lot of what I see, because I'm going to generalize this, a lot of what I see is a lot of the people that I talk to, their lifestyle doesn't match their pocket. And what I mean by
Mm-hmm.
that is, let's say I'm gonna use myself for an example. I'm a single man. My child is grown, so there's nobody in the house with me. It's just me. And so it would make sense for me to maybe live in a townhouse with maybe 2 rooms, bathroom, something modest, not too big. But instead, in the flex culture, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go live in a 4 bedroom house with 2.5 bathrooms, a 2 car garage, a huge backyard, all this stuff in it. And unfortunately, that's what I see a lot of in people that come to me is they're living in lifestyles that it's not sensible. You have maybe it's a brand new couple, a new married couple, it's just 2 people and y'all want a 5, 6 bedroom house. Or something else I've seen is people who work at like Amazon driving CLS 5s or wanting a brand new Tesla Plaid or Tesla Model X. I'm like, you're going to a warehouse and you driving a Tesla Model X to go to a warehouse. It doesn't make logical sense. Why are you doing that? And you basically, what you're doing is you putting yourself in a position to where now you can't afford to get fired from that place. Cause if it does, you gonna miss that car note. You're not gonna be able to pay the insurance. You're not gonna be able to feed yourself, all because you decided that it was more important to have a Tesla Model X or CLS 500 than to just get what's within your means. And that's what's being pumped right now. You mentioned the wanting to look like Spider-Man and Batman and stuff, and that's exactly what it is. You're wanting to look like these people, and so you trying to match that. Listen, there's nothing wrong. Like, everybody can't be the hero at the beginning. You just cannot. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. It was not designed that way. You know what I'm saying? And a point that you really touched on that I liked was that you have to have the self-esteem to be okay in your role. Once you get to a certain point in life, you shouldn't be looking at the next person like that. Not with envy. If anything, you should be asking questions of, okay, what did you do to get to this point, or getting some kind of mentorship or coaching. I don't want to be like you. I just want to know what you know so that I can implement it into what I'm doing so that I can get there. I don't want to be like anybody, because to me, that's an insult to God. Like, for you to want to be like somebody else, that's like saying, hey, God, you didn't do a good job. I want to be like this person instead. No, you got to be happy with you.
That's deep.
God made you who you are. God don't make no mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
deep.
whoever God made you, that's who you are. So you need to focus on being you and doing what's best for you. And I hate to have went off on that tangent in a question about what have I seen, but that's what came to my mind when I started really talking about this, is like the core problem of why people make those decisions. And it's, you're trying to look like somebody that you're not. And it's honestly is disrespectful to your creator.
That's boy, that's a hot take. I love it. Let me hit you with another one though. So let's talk
Okay.
about American culture. And you touched on it. And I really think I want to just backtrack and outline it.
Okay.
So you buy a $70,000 vehicle. Let's even say it's $60,000 vehicle. You buy a $60,000 vehicle, and then you buy a $300,000 house. Then you wake up in the morning, you drive that vehicle, and let's just say you got a 30-minute commute to work. You drive that vehicle for 30 minutes, and then you go into the building, and then you work for 8 hours. Don't forget, the house that you left has been sitting there for that same 8 hours, and the car's been sitting in the parking lot for that same 8 hours. And then
Right.
you get back in, and then you drive it for another 30 minutes, and then you go into your house, and then for the last couple of hours, you might cook dinner, watch TV, and then go lay down, and then you spend 8 hours in that house, and then you rinse and repeat that cycle into the weekend. Like, you're putting so much effort into something that you're barely using. It's crazy to me that I would go use this 8 hours of my time to keep the thing that's in the parking lot that I can't use right now because I'm working.
It ain't doing nothing.
I haven't connected the dots yet. Like, why do I have something like, so me, I catch the subway to work and I enjoy all of it. And I have a car, I have a Ford Fusion. So gas efficiency is amazing. So I drive that for 10 minutes to the parking lot. But I'm not thinking, if I lose this job, my Ford Focus about to be gone. Not even I would just downgrade to a, yeah, I'd just my Ford Fusion. I'll just downgrade to a Focus. I'll get a Focus, but I'm not going to put in slave hours. I mean, and that's what a lot of people are doing, putting in slave hours,
Yeah.
just surviving.
Yeah, and expanding on that is to me what you're saying with that, and what I would say to the person is basically you're saying that that car or whatever little feeling that that car gives you is more important than your life in general.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Time and life.
Your focus is so much on that vehicle that your mind is gone at this point. Like your mind is checked out and your desire has checked in. It's like all you worrying about is, hey, I have this nice looking car, instead of the peace of mind you would have if you were a bit more practical in your approach. I just wanted to add my own little, because that really inspired that thought. Is like, is it really that much more important? Is the gift of life, CLS 500, is more important than your life and
Right.
your peace?
And then this is a good transition into my next question. So my next question is, of this flex culture, I mean, from the highest level to the lowest level when you see it, how much of it do you believe is actually fueled in debt? When you see these people, do you believe that the things that they have around their neck or that they're driving or that they're in or that they're showcasing is 100% paid off?
Okay, I'm gonna say an astounding no. Absolutely not. And you know what? I'm gonna come from two quick approaches to that too. But no, I'm not. Let me bring it back. I had to think about that for a second. Let me bring that back. No, one approach. Because in the flex culture, this debt that you accumulate as a result of that culture is horrible debt. There's this thing called good debt and there's thing called bad debt. And I almost went down the avenue of both. But in this particular instance, this is just bad debt. This is not anything that is going to help you. Like, it is not. By you essentially overspending, because that's exactly what this is, because that's where debt comes from. Debt comes from overspending. Debt, as I had, not debt, the word debt, but the word interest. Interest is basically the price you pay to have something now that you can't afford. And so this is what's happening to people. We're putting ourselves in a position that we want something now, and we're willing to basically give up our life, which is what debt is. Debt is a prison. It is a prison that stops any really forward progress. I don't care how anybody says it, how the average person will say it. There's people that's independently wealthy that understand the power of good debt, and that will argue with me debt is how money is created, and they're right. But we're talking to the person who chooses to use debt as a way to basically get instant gratification instead of delayed gratification. And so to that person, yes, you are basically putting yourself in a absolutely horrible position, like a position again of a prison. And so you going out getting these things, a chain, like a house that's way too big. It doesn't make any sense. Like to the point where it makes me mad. Like, it's like, how? How? It's how you get mad when you talking to your kids like they doing something they know they not supposed to be doing. Like, they know it. You've said it to them over and over and over again. Hey man, you know what I'm saying? Stop putting your shoes on the steps or whatever. And they know they're not supposed to do that. But yet they do it, and then next thing you know, they come crying to you when they trip and fall down the steps and they'll hurt themselves or something. And this is what I think about when I see people doing stuff like this. I'm like, you can't think that this is a smart decision. You can't think that this is the right thing. This is, you're dooming yourself, and you're playing into a game that it doesn't benefit you. You're not going to win this game. Debt is something, again, that was created by someone to make money. But most people, you're not on the right side of that. So unless you on the right side of that debt, putting yourself in that position is a recipe for doom.
I remember a lady, I felt like she was just part of cancel culture or something, but it was a lady who was cussing me out because I just said something like debt is the new modern day slavery. And it was a black lady too. And she says, you can't compare it to slavery. Slavery was basically she was telling me slavery is its own thing. You can't say that because slavery was so way worse. I said what's worse is instead of you getting a whooping, you getting mind fucked. That's what's worse.
It's
That's
way
what's
more
worse.
insulting, honestly.
Yeah, what's worse is that you don't fucking see it. Okay, we want me to soften the word, you're indentured servant. That's where a lot of slavery came from. Okay, you owe me money, you're gonna work for me until you pay this money off. And then they had a good idea. Fuck that. We just won't pay them all. We'll just snatch them from this island. If you know your history and know what slavery is, and I say something like that, I mean, the conversation should be, hey, how do we go forward? Not the words that I'm using that made you hurt your fucking feelings. But I don't want people to continue to fall down that hole. And of course, we talk about mindset and how to get out of mindset. I really want people to understand it and see it for what it is. I'm not insulting anybody. I'm not insulting your intelligence. I actually like your
No,
chain. I just don't want to wear it or be in that type of debt to put it on. I really think it's important that you just really figure it out. Figure it out for yourself. If I hurt your feelings, good. Change your mind, change your money, change your life.
there you
Uh,
go. There you go.
but it's cool, man. What do you got working on in your business that you want to share with the community?
Yeah, since we're on the subject of debt and like the irrationality of it, I just wanted to share the opportunity to fix that. I offer actually a 60-day financial reset where we tackle debt, because I have come to realize that debt is one of the, if not
Hey,
the,
hold one, Mike. You're starting to freeze up.
how
All
we
right,
looking?
start from the top.
Okay. So what I'm
Oh, still
currently working,
freezing.
let me try this. Okay, we better. Okay. Currently what we're doing here over at the Green Order is we are actually tackling debt head on. We are addressing the mindset of debt. And we talked a lot about some of the questions that I will ask the client. But what I have as a solution is the 60-day financial reset. This is the opportunity for you to go back and really go to the drawing board of how did you get to this place of debt? Like what are some of the mindset traps that you've fallen into? What are some of the mistakes you may have made? Or what are some of the holes in your knowledge that maybe you just didn't understand how this would all work out, and maybe some options that you have to correct some of these mistakes? I'm offering people the opportunity to basically, one, I'm actually offering a free guide to how to wrap your mind around getting around the issues of debt. But if you want to go further within that guide, that's where the 60-day financial reset comes into play. You will fill out an application, because again, I only have enough time to deal with about 5 people at a time. So there is application process to where I pick and choose. I'm sorry. I love all y'all and I want to help all y'all, but I'm only one person right now. The Green Order is still growing, and right now we're working with 5 people to do that. But once you're accepted into there, we're going to teach you everything that you need to know, not only to get yourself out of debt, but you'll be equipped with the tools to where you will never fall back into that trap again. So our focal point here at the Green Order is to help you to learn how to forever get out of debt and to forever achieve financial success.
I love it. I love it. Hey man, so before we close out, you have any final words for Big Money Grip with all of these fancy cars and the I don't even know like designer now. I know people still wear Louis and Gucci, Balenciaga, and I'm trying to think what's the other one. I can't even keep up because I don't. But the folks that's with the $100 sweatshirts on, what we going to tell them?
Okay. What I want to tell them, and you actually touched on it a little bit. Number one, stop caring so much about that. Because what you have to understand is that these people, they don't care about you. They don't know your name. Givenchy doesn't know your name. Louis Vuitton doesn't know your name. So why are we so eager to give people who don't even know who we are our hard-earned money? So with that, the biggest weapon against this, as Rob calls it, and is accurate, the biggest weapon against indentured servitude is a better self-esteem. You got to start looking at yourself a little bit better than you looking. You deserve so much more in life than a rat race, a just constant cycle of get up in the morning, go to work, pay bills, go back. I empathize with you in that, hey, these things, they look nice. They're awesome. People respond well to them when you arrive in them. But don't let those things replace who you are, because who you are is way more important than what you have. People will respect you more. You'll go into the world a lot more confident. And again, it's about making that transition. It's about the mental maturity to say to yourself, hey, listen, I love me enough I'm gonna look out for me. I don't care what the world got going on. It doesn't matter. because it truly doesn't. All those people out there that you're looking to impress, they don't care nothing about you. They don't care because they're too busy worried about themselves. So focus on yourself, focus on your lane, and watch how your life and your finances will improve.
I love it. All right, so to the next episode, we truly appreciate you, Tom. This is 7 Cents. We are over and out. You just tapped into the 7 Cents, where the mind meets the money and the legacy gets built.
It's your boy Money Mike, the financial Thanos, snapping one myth at a time and leaving no financial lies standing.
And I'm Coach RL, mind right, money right, legacy locked in. If today's episode gave you game, make sure you rate, review, and share it with someone.
Hey, follow us on all platforms and keep the conversation going, guys. DM us your questions, your myths, and your money wins.
Until next time, think deeper, move smarter, and keep building.
This is the 7 Cents Podcast. We out.